Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter with Robin's Creations. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas, and today I am here to share my third set of alternative cards using the beautiful blues kit that can be found on the online store under the kits collection. It's not a paper pumpkin kit, it's a regular kit collection. Before we begin, let me thank each and every one of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support. We did reach 4,800 and I'm just going to skip 4,900 and let's shoot for 5,000. So if you are new to my channel or you have watched a few but have yet to subscribe, I would really appreciate if you could help me reach that 5,000 subscriber mark. That would be an extra special gift for me this summer if that happens. So before we begin, I also want to mention that going on now is a sale. It's a great sale from Stampin' Up! One of the best ones I've ever seen. Any products in a suite collection are buy one, get one half off. So you want to kind of watch your cart when you do that, because you kind of want to look for equal item things, because the lowest items in your cart will be the ones that are half off. It doesn't mean you have to purchase a whole suite. You can purchase one bundle and get another bundle, so long as it's part of a suite collection, half off. So I've gone over that a couple times in my videos, but I like to point that out in case you are new to my channel and have yet to hear of that special. So let's switch to hands down and I can share a few more things with you. Get the right screen going this time. Okay, hot off the press on my last video are the next 3 paper pumpkin kits. And let me tell you, these look amazing. And the new set of add-on dies are also great. So let me first go over the July. So going on now is the July paper pumpkin subscription period through July 10th. It's going to be called Sweeter With You. And I can tell you already, there's going to be a strawberry stamp that this die cuts out. Also going to cut out little seeds, and then this same die will be used in the September kit for an acorn. So we also have, there's a strawberry top, a hello, a stitched circle, which is always nice, and then some leaves and flowers. I think this flower also coordinates with the July kit. So these are available now, so long as you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, for item number 167277. Kind of got some messy handwriting there, but I think that's what it is. Also in August, we're going to get a free additional stamp set. So that usually only happens like around March, the anniversary period. But in August, we're going to get 2 stamp sets. So that's a great value. And then September is a while away, so we will get to that when the time comes. But hopefully our June kits are in the mail, and as soon as I get mine, I will do an unboxing. And last I checked, these add-on dies were in there as well. Item number 166238. Now, I do have this Floral Charm Suite. I was able to pre-order that, so I'm going to give you a peek of what that is. If you're making a wish list for when the July online exclusives release, this would be one you want to add. So, Charming Day. Now, I didn't purchase as a suite because there wasn't a second suite I didn't already have enough products of. But I did purchase the bundle, and this is the suite item number 166141 that will be live starting July 1st. So if you're making your wish list, this is going to coordinate with that, and it is a beautiful kit. I showed in my last video all the dies. Hopefully I put that set in here. Here's another tip. I always make a photocopy of the dies when they come in, so if one goes missing, I know which one it is. But I thought I'd do a die cut of each of the ones that aren't meant for a stamp set. Of course, these open ones are meant for a stamp set, but look at those beautiful die cuts. So I just did them in one color as a reference. So I just love this flower as well. And I thought about using it in the the beautiful blues. Help me with that tongue twister there, kit, but I'm going to use some things that you can order now. So also I got in this Sunflower 3D embossing folder. Now I did it in white. Of course, I would probably do it in yellow, or you can color in the sunflower with the colors you wanted it there. But this is a new item coming in July. And I did put the item number of it to 166145. So you can make a note of those and be ready to go July 1st to grab those items. Okay, I've shared all of that. So now we're to our kit. Now I have used everything so far except for this. It's a blueberry bushel shaded, kind of a distressed look card base. So obviously now in my last alternative I used some DSP behind one of the items, and I forgot to say you could use this as a background as well, but it was more of a Night of Navy and I really didn't like those two together, so I went with some Night of Navy DSP I had in my stash. So let's put this away. Now they did use that behind there, and I used a gray granite piece that I had, and so we have all of those three card bases to use. So let's get started with an alternative using that. Okay, we're going to need a thick white card base like I usually do, and this one looks like it's not scored right, so I kind of manhandle it to where it's a square corner, grab my bone folder and re-score that sucker. Okay, that's better. Always feel to see which side might be a little taller or wider, and that one's going to be your front piece. Okay, and then I have a piece that is 4.5 by 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inches long. And then I also took a new embossing folder. It's part of the Glass and Garden set. There are two in there. This is part of the Cheers and Sips suite. However, I use it for, it doesn't have to be exclusive for that set anyway. So this is called Glass and Gardens. This is two of them. And the item number for this, although last I checked this was unavailable, so they will be getting more in of this, 165597. And I embossed this just on the right hand side of this piece of this layer right here. So next I had some blueberry bushel pieces. Now this is from a retired arch that was part of the Garden Meadow or Meadow Garden bundle, and I did several cards of using blueberry bushel, the outside piece as a window. So I had many of these in my folder, which I'm going to use. Now there are arches new in the annual, not annual catalog, they might be, but they're on the online store. So you just would want an arch that measures about 4 1/4 tall by 3. Now other items you could use would just be a stitched rectangle or the new rectangles. I don't have those by me. Textured notes, I think they're called. That would be beautiful. But I had these in my folder, so I wanted to go ahead and use those. And then we're going to bring in a flower. And I said I was going to be using the Gallery Blooms. And so this would be a great, let's see, do I have the dies by me? This would be a great item to purchase right now. Here they are. You could purchase one bundle, the Gallery Blooms, and you could get the beautiful motifs half off. Now if there are 2 suites you want, you could get this whole suite because they're part of a suite, and then get a second one half off. Just kind of play with your dollars and see which makes the best deal if you plan to do that. And so I'm going to use this flower right here. I have it in my stamp positioning tool, which is the Stamparatus. And I was playing a little before this video and I got some blue on my thing. That's not the right setup. All right, let me find my correct plates for this one. Okay, so this is my correct setup for that. I have both the big one and the little one because I use those, I think, in my first set of alternatives. So this is how I do all my stamping, is I cut out a piece, use the negative piece to align my stamp. I stamp it right on this piece, which is a writable 3-ring binder divider that I've cut to 7 3/8 by 7 3/8, so it fits in my stamp apparatus. These are part of my favorite things, as well as all these little envelopes and big envelopes that you see. And then so I stamp that on there, and then I line this up around the stamp and tape it down. So that helps me just be able to cut and place. Let's hope they didn't move. That's the biggest item, but hopefully tape down they did not. So I have a pre-cut white piece. It also helps me save on all my white because I can cut them real close together, and it also saves time if you're going to make several of these. This is Blueberry Bushel, so I'm going to have it handy, and then I'm going to have a Wink of Stella handy, and also my blender pen. Let me grab it. I think it's in the middle of all of this. Now these blender pens come in a set of 3, and I kind of have put a color designation for each one, so I don't necessarily have to scribble and waste all the lovely fluids that are inside this pen. So we're going to do this 2 ways, and I'm going to use these items while it's freshly stamped. Now my Blueberry Bushel has been nice and juicy, and let me get a stamp pad just to put underneath this to keep it level. I said a stamp pad. That's a stamp case. A stamp pad is also about the same height. All right, so with that nice and juicy, I can see it's all inked up. I'm going to press and make sure I get a good image of this flower. Okay, let's lift that up. Now it's still in there, and while those juices are wet, I'm going to take my blender pen and kind of just pull some of the color up onto the flowers. Just a light wash of blue. And with the blender pen, you want to be real careful and go quickly and not over it too much, or you'll get too much, you'll start to ripple your paper, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so there's our flower. If you want to add some Wink of Stella, you can do that as well. This is a older one. By the way, this is an older one that when it's kind of empty, you can put some alcohol in this, and there's usually some sparkle left to add sparkle to your flower. So there is that one. Well, you can't see it there, can you? All right, I'll show both of them in a minute. I'm going to set that one there. Let me get my one that's not a refill, the Wink of Stella, and we're going to do this another way. So I have another flower here, and go with my nice and juicy ink pad. I'm getting ink all over. I usually like to use the minis or the ink spots on the stamp apparatus because I don't get an ink blob, but since it's not on paper, it's not a big deal. So again, go with that. I think that's a good image. It's just still nice and juicy. So now with my Wink of Stella only, I'm going to do the same thing and bring up color into these flowers. So either process would work. I like to show multiple ways so you can use what you may have. Now this automatically puts some sparkle in there as well. And I don't have much wet there. But that's another way you could do it. I'm going to go ahead and add it to my leaves while I'm here. I think actually this one depends on how it works. Let me get my scrubs. Well, actually, what I really like to, first I get the ink off with a damp paper towel, okay? And you just want to dab. You don't want to rub. Now, I buy the strong paper towels, so I could do a little rubbing. But if you have the ones that fall apart, you don't want to rub because you'll get all those particles in your stamp. Now, this is one of my favorite things for cleaning stamps on a stamp apparatus. So what this is, it's a paint, like if you were doing a border, see it has little rollers, so you could paint. But when I felt this, I thought that feels a whole lot like our Stampin' Scrub. But it's hard to use the Stampin' Scrub on my stamp apparatus, I find. So what I do is I get my Stampin' Mist. Now it no longer comes in this little bottle. It comes in a big bottle, and that item number is 153648. And I love this cleaner. It not only cleans your stamp, but helps condition them as well. So I just do like a squirt or two, and then I have water in another one that I get that nice and wet. And then I can just clean all the stamps on my plate and not have to take them off to clean them. And it looks like there was some blue up there on the corner. Now, I just have one. I guess you could get two, and one could be wet, one could be dry. But I just set this off to the side to dry on its own. It's usually not too wet, so long as you do your, don't get your thing here too wet. Okay, so this is, I think, the one with the blender pen, and this is the one with the straight with Wink of Stella. So either way works. You can see they're very similar. Okay, so we're going to get this on here. Now, you're like, you said you were going to use the blue card base, and I am, just for a little strip. So let me get those pieces out. Here is a half. So you're going to want to cut your long card base in half. So you can see this is half of one. Okay. And then you're going to cut these into 3 strips. So you're going to be able to get 3 cards per each half. So you could make lots of cards. I might see if I come up with anything else before my June paper pumpkin comes in. But anyway, then I cut when it's all together, I cut it at 1 3/8. Okay, and then I just take whatever's left and cut that in half, which is about 1 1/2, or maybe there's another at 1 3/8. So I think there's 2 at 1 3/8 and 1 at 1 1/2. Yep, that's what it looks like. And then of course I will take all of these and trim them down to 5 3/8 to match my layer that I like to use. So let me show you what I want to do with this is use the leaf stamp that came in this beautiful blues and add some detail to this little strip right here. So you're going to need some scrap paper. I just get my copy paper that is extra from something, and I'm going to get my Stampin' Pierce mat to put under here, and then my leaf, and I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel again, and we're just going to randomly stamp this leaf on the kit. Now like I said, my Blueberry Bushel is very juicy, and I'm just having to just basically set it on here, that way I get some detail on the center of these leaves. And we'll turn that leaf this way and just keep going down. I switch sides each time I turn the paper. I kind of scooted that one. It's still working out well. And then one more here. I think that'll fill it up. Okay, so that one's pretty juicy still. So I'm going to set this aside. I already have one that I pre-did, and it's nice and dry. I just don't want to smear this one that I just stamped just in case. So I'm going to set that over by my computer. I can close up my ink now. And by the way, if you haven't seen, when I open these, it's best to press the back part, which flips that up, and then you can flip. That way you don't like smash your finger in trying to open them. Okay, so we can set this aside. I'm getting a desk full of stuff again. I tend to always do that. So here's what I want to do. I want to attach this piece to here. So it's already cut to 5 3/8, and I want it flush on this side. So I'm going to get my Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, do a nice fine line of that. I also have it in a fine tip glue bottle, which would work, but paper is nice and thick, so I'm okay using the whole bottle. You can kind of decide which. I like that leaf because it goes right into the corner, so I'm going to flip it that way. And when I want my ends flush with the card base, I just tap it on my desk and mine the ends here with my fingers. And that's on there nice and snug. Then everything's always better with ribbon and embellishments. So I just got some white ribbon. This ribbon's no longer on the available, but there is a plain white ribbon that would work. Or check your stash. You might have this one. This one was just called white, item number 164205, in case you might have that one. So I just measure the length of my card base plus a few inch or so off, and then trim it. And then we're going to attach it to the ends, the bottom part, and I'm going to use tear and tape. Let me go ahead and get 2 nice pieces off, and then you hold it where you're going to tape it. You could run some double-sided super strong tape to the back, and that would work too. And then here's what I do. I measure with my grid sheet, or you could use a ruler or the ruler that's on your instructions. So it goes down this one line, and I want it to stay there so it's straight. Okay, so there's our layer. I'm going to take off the backings. It'll help hold it to the card base. And then my multi-purpose liquid glue again. And let's go along the edge with it. Now, because I have that super strong tear and tape on there, I'm going to have to be careful when I put it on my card base. Kind of look for border, equal border all around. And that looks good, and then I can press. So there's our base of our card. I really like that embossing folder there. Okay, now it's time for a background. So pick one of your flowers, and we're going to put this on here. And then I wanted to bring in a little more detail. So in the beautiful motif, I think that's how you say it. If it's not, that's how I say it. Okay, there's all these beautiful detailed dies. Now I use this one in my first alternative. It does a partial cut, so it doesn't cut this leaf all the way out, but it does score into the leaf pattern. And so it also makes this beautiful leaf right here. I guess it'd be like that. Okay, and then these beautiful ends. I haven't played with those yet, but they look beautiful to use as well. Now I want to put this leaf off to the side here, and I'm just going to kind of eye about where I want it because I want it to show a lot. So I'm going to pull that over a little bit. Now I forgot to use tear and tape, but I think there's plenty of big leaves that I can put little dots of adhesive on. So we're going to just go with this right here. Let's get a few on this leaf. And of course it's going to go over my ribbon, and I just hope I got a good leaf, enough leaves that it'll stay. So I'm going to press that down just like that. Okay, and then we're going to adhere our blue flower here. Now I was playing around and I saw this one, which was also the motifs, right? There's my copy. And I thought, well, does it need a little something else here? And I really couldn't decide. So I'm going to get everybody's opinion on this. Do you like this kind of wild, what is that, a dandelion or something, flower behind it? You know what, I'm just going to go with this because that was my original plan. And I'm going to turn it like that so I can put my sentiment over here. And then, of course, I'm going to use dimensionals to put that on the card because I need a little dimension. That's why I think they're called dimensionals. So just put a few around like that. Now I have this done without coloring it in, and I'm going to get your opinion of which you like better. So I'm just going to kind of center it on this part. And then, of course, a sentiment. Now, do I have any? Oh, I think I have some, although they're not in Blueberry Bushel. So imagine this is in Blueberry Bushel. Actually, it looks okay there. That's in Night of Navy. And that is part of the beautiful motifs. I love all these sentiments. You know, that would be fun on if this were white, or this, to put some detail on that if you didn't have Blueberry Bushel. So there is my first card. And then I'm going to show you the one I did that's just a white background. It's over here in all my goodies. Oh, and I forgot one thing. Okay, here is the one I did just in white with some Wink of Stella. I'm kind of torn, although I do need to do this butterfly. Now, I just got in also the butterfly, Beautiful Butterflies hybrid embossing folder and dies. That kind of gives away something I want to do. And it has, actually that's part of the, that's another kit that I was going to use. But anyway, this kit has these cute little butterflies. There's 2 of them. And then there's 2 bodies that I really like. Now I have lots of butterflies, but I don't have a lot that do that. So I want to add this body piece. Can you see that? Where's my Pierce mat? So it has a butterfly and the body piece. And there's 2 of those dies. So you can cut 2 at once. So let me adhere this little body to my butterfly. Now this is where the fine tip glue bottle really comes in handy. Oops, and I got glue on my thing. Just wipe that with my finger and now I'll have sticky fingers. All right, let's get the body going correctly. And yes, my fingers are blue. I'm going to look like a Smurf before I'm done with all these cards because of the Blueberry Bushel. So there is the cute butterfly. And then I'm going to bend its little wings up and add, I've left this little thing on there because I keep losing it. I'm going to add it to this side of this card to balance that off some. So, of course, you can always do embellishments to dress it up as well. But what do you think about that little butterfly? I really like it. Did I share the item number? So this is part of a suite as well. And so it comes with the hybrid embossing folder, which I don't think I do. There's a stamp set, beautiful butterflies, and then this beautiful hybrid embossing folder. And what a hybrid embossing folder is you can take one of the dies. I tried these little ones around and I didn't find that it actually cut one out. You can take this. You could probably put the detailed one in there too and set that in there, close it, and then it cuts and embosses all in one. Thought I had a embossed piece not cut. That's the sunflower. Oh, it's with the sunflower. So see, it would automatically cut out this beautiful embossed butterfly. So I wanted to get this because I got this as part of Celebration as a purchase with, what was it, $60? So I needed to get this part. So I was able to get this, and I forgot what else. Something else half off because they were about the same price. So again, just kind of watch your cart and see what makes the most sense and something you may like. But see, it has 12 total dies. There's those 2 little butterflies I showed earlier, and it's 2 little body pieces. Maybe that has a name. I don't know. Y'all can share with me if that body part has a name. Okay, so I just like to show what I used on that, but I really like that little butterfly. Let me turn him more straight. Okay, now I decided, you know what, let me show some more options as far as flowers for this card. So I brought in the Layers of Beauty set. Now I haven't used that. Let me clear some of these stamps from my side here. And I'm going to put these back in there. You can see I have more pieces to use. I'll put these back in my little envelope so they don't get stuff all over them. There, I can already use some of those pieces. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to work with the Layers of Beauty. Okay, set all this aside. Okay, so it is a stamp set and dies that also has masks. Now this has been around a while, but I'll have to look. I can't remember if it's still a bundle or not. But if it's not, you know, you could probably buy one of these, get this half off, and it does. And then there's the mask. But just be careful. If you throw those masks in, that's what's probably going to be half off because it's probably the lesser item in your cart. Okay, trash. All right, so here's what I do. So here are the flower masks, all 3 of them. And here is my negative to my die cut. Now I'm going to also use, I'll show you at the end afterwards. Okay, so I have this taped to a laminated piece of cardstock that I just laminated with my little lamination machine. Okay, and then I can set that in there. And then well, actually I need to stamp it first, don't I? And look, this is a huge, huge stamp. So it's this big, right? It's as big as my hand. It's a big image, but I think it's really pretty. So I already got my negative there. I have my magnet, and then we're going with the blueberry bushel again. See if I'm still doing good. Last time my computer froze up. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It's not an old computer. Okay. And then that's on another stamp that's there. Let's move this. Make sure it's still in the corner and all flat in there. And then we can press to give a second for the ink to, I'm going to leave that open over here because we're going to need it. Okay, peek. Did we get everything? A little bit here. I should have made sure it was in the corner again, but hopefully it was. Why is that not inking? Press it really good. Okay, there we go. And one more spot. Okay, so there's a nice image for that flower. All right, let me clean that off. See if that's still wet. I probably need to. And then if you already have sprayed some Stampin' Mist, you can just kind of reactivate it with water. Let me get my paper towel to get most of the glue off. That way I don't have to clean this thing as much if I do it with a paper towel. Then I'm just basically making sure it got really clean. Sorry, that's scooting around. And then I'll set this aside. Now we can set this in here. Okay, then get it straight down in there. That's in the negative piece. I take layer 1 and I lined it up with the flowers. Okay, and I've taped it. And then I need my blending brush for Blueberry Bushel. And I'm going to see if there's any ink on here already, because with this one, I want just a light wash of blue. Looks like that's a good amount. Okay, and then I take my second layer. Okay, and I taped it down. And of course we want it a little stronger, so I work kind of off to the side. And let's blend this around. I love these ones with masks because I'm not an artist, but it really is beautiful. So you can kind of check it out. Flip those two back. You know what? I'm going to go just a little heavier. I hope I'm not scooting my table too much to make you blurry. All right, we can check it out again. I like that. And then we're going to go with the deepest layer. Now, this is 3 all-in-one. So you do have to kind of work to press it in there because they are layered. But I find I can do it. And that way they're all lined up on one thing. And I don't have to keep changing them out. Let's check out that. I really like the flowers. Let's see if we can get a little more detail down in there. So I'm having to press kind of hard to get the bristles down in there. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. I like the variation of blues. Now I stopped with that layer of the flowers and I did the leaves on another laminated piece. So I did the same thing. I put a negative in there so I could set that in the negative spot. I lined up the first one. Yep, that's lined up. Taped it down. Okay, this one just needs a light wash. I'm going to try to go with the ink that's already on my brush. Oh, that little flower. Check it out. And then I can go with the detail one, and I taped it down. And this I want a much darker ink. So I'm just tapping it on my ink pad over there. Now, if you want to, you can just do each one individually. But since I was making several of these, I just taped it to this so I could use it over and over. And I really like the variation there. Let's get a little more over here. By the way, if you're trying to ink up and your ink dries, you could lean over this and huff to kind of activate it if it dries out a little bit. I can also huff on my blending brush there. And so there's our decorated flower. Now each one of these is going to turn out a little different, but isn't that beautiful? So that's with the layers of beauty. I also want to show you one that I went in and cut out all the little fussies for more white space. So where's my, let me get my, so see all the little white spots? So I went in with this X-Acto knife. Oh, is it not? Here it is. Okay, and this is part of my favorite things too. And all my favorite things, there's a link in the description box of this video, just where it starts telling about this video, hit more, and you may have to hit more again to see the list. And so I went in and I cut each one of those. Now you'll want a cutting mat. That one already does it, but just to cut out those details. But I wanted to show the one with just the die. It's just as beautiful. And then here is the card I made with that. I did the same sort of thing with the arch, and there is that, and I Wink-a-Stella'd it. And then this set has these little detailed leaves right here and here that I kind of did around. And this was the butterfly before I got in that set. So it's not the one with the body, but there is that one. So just thought I'd show you some different options with different flowers you may have. Of course, there's lots of flower stamps out there. Even the recently retired Enduring Beauty one that has mass. I might try it on one, and I'll share those on my blog when I finish this whole kit. Also, remember there is also a Kits Collection fan page on Facebook. So I do post pictures of these there. So if you're not a member of that, just go over and answer the questions, and then you can be approved into that group. It's much like the Paper Pumpkin Fan Club, where we share our alternatives, and you can see those as well. So that is my alternative. What do you guys think? That one, and where's the other two? Well, they're here. I really like that butterfly with the body. I'm in love with him right now. So, which do you like of these? Do you like the white, or do you like some of the color filled in? I'm kind of torn because I like this darkness of the blue and the white, since this is blue and white. But I like this. Of course, I don't know where my sentiment went. I didn't glue it on. That can make a difference in how you see it. Okay, and this one I don't have a sentiment. So I do like to leave some cards without a sentiment. That way I can either write whatever I want to inside. I can add a sentiment when it's time to, when I want to send this card. But, so again, the best compliment you guys can give me. Let me switch to me. I'm going to remember that a little sooner this time. Hi, so thanks for watching. I hope you found some inspiration to use more of this beautiful blues kit. Now these are more avid. I like the last one was very easy, so I do like to add some avid things in here. So like I said, you can get 3 for half a card base. We have 3 card bases, so I don't know that I'm going to do, what is that, 9 times 3, 18. I don't know that I'm going to do 18 of these. I might. You know, I'm waiting on the June Paper Pumpkin kit to come in. So anyway, the best compliment you guys can give me is a thumbs up. Of course, hit that subscription button that's going to come up here in the end credits. Help me reach that 5,000 mark of subscribers, and share this with your other paper crafting friends. So I hope to see you guys again soon with the unboxing of the June kit. I know they went out a day late because they had an in-service project for everyone in the company on the 11th. So they did start shipping them on the 12th. So who knows when I'll get mine. It's kind of a surprise. I do like the new service where it shows up at your front door. It's not from UPS. It's like an outsourced UPS delivery. It seems like I get it a little earlier when they do that, but we'll see. So thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope you have a great crafting day, or enjoy your Father's Day. I forgot to say Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, or father figures. So until my next video, have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.